8 808s, 8 rack instruments, and one very questionable life choice on 808 day. I'm breaking down how to make 8 different 808 basses inside the Reason rack so you can stop scrolling through Splice, unless it's my pack, and start cooking up your own. And yeah, I'm this close to finishing my Rolling Cloud certification, so consider this a pre-official flex. Step number 1, hit pause. Step number 2, grab your headphones. Step number 3, hit play again. Step number 4, let's make some bass. All right, can I get a drum roll, please? Our first rack extension is going to be algorithm. We're gonna run through this as fast as possible so we can get through all 8 devices. Let's right click and hit reset device. We're gonna run through this as fast as possible so we can get through all 8 808s and still have time left on 808 day. We're gonna start with an FM operator. And in this case, I'm going to pull the sustain all the way down, and let's pull the attack down a little bit. We can keep a little bit of attack just in case there's a click at the beginning, but we'll see as we go on what that might sound like. Keep a little bit of release so we don't have a click at the end as well. And then let's go ahead and add a shaper so we can just get some distortion going. Then we'll come up to this one and drag this into the shaper. All right, now we got the buzz of the 808, but we don't necessarily have the sonic characteristic of the attack. So this is where we're going to go to the curve, and we're going to put it on one-shot mode. We'll turn off the stepped feature there, and let's go to our source in the matrix. Source is going to be curve 1, and our destination is going to be pitch, and we can pull this up all the way and start hearing some differences. Now, right now, it sounds like we're playing with laser guns in the 80s. So we're going to pull this down so it's less abrupt, less dramatic, and we can mess with the rate to change the speed here. Then we start getting more of that click that you would hear in a kick or an 808 bass. Next thing I want to do here is play with some of the distortion and maybe get some more body going. From here, we can start layering on other operators, oscillators, or noise. We can just have fun and go crazy. Let's try an oscillator, maybe home console, turn on the out. Let's add a shaper and distort this. Now let's run it through a filter. High pass. Pull all that down. Turn this on and connect this here. Now I kind of want to add more boom back into this, so let's go into oscillator noise and let's look for a simple sine noise, and let's just pull this up so I can hear it. Yeah, okay, for a sec, let's turn these off. Listen to this by itself. Kind of match the ADSR with the first operator we had. We can even bring this down. If we put this down below, we can get a deeper sub. That could be nice. And let's turn these back on. That was an accident, but that sounds good. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa. Let's forget about the filter. Blend that in. Okay. More distortion. You can also add an EQ, and you can use an EQ in a bunch of different ways, like to control the brightness, to boost the sub, and we can make this really dramatic to compete with modern basses. Let's put this on bell. With sound design, you can be really drastic. Sometimes with mixing, less is more. With sound design, sometimes more is more. Let's hear this in context. And it has just enough room at the beginning to add a kick on top of it. And if we wanted to, we can also pull the attack up a little bit on each of these envelopes so that it doesn't interfere with our kick. All right, let's move on to the next one. Drum roll, please. Complex. Oh yeah, we're going with the beast today. All right, right click, reset device. This is what it sounds like starting from scratch. Pretty decent, right? So let's just go straight to the ADSR, bring down the decay. Yeah, we're already getting somewhere. All right, now the oscillator mix is all the way on 2 over here, so I can pull this over to hear what 1 sounds like. Kind of blend those. That sounds good at 50%. You can also alter the shapes. Now let's add oscillator 3. We're gonna be very careful here. Pull down the volume and then drag the oscillator here, and you can slowly bring it up. And you can play with the pitch. We're picking up that right now it doesn't have an envelope connected to it. So let's do that. Take the volume, put it there, move this up. This is so cool. All right, now we can bring this down to wherever we want it. Typically multiples of 12. Now here you'll notice that it isn't actually getting any pitch information. So if you look at oscillator 1 and 2, we can see that this one is getting the key. Drag here and connect our pitch, right? Buzz it up. Okay, so we can utilize this filter with oscillator 3. So let's do that. We want to cut some of the buzz, keep some of it. So let's cut the highest parts. So we're going to go with a low pass filter for that. Let's click on the show cables button to make my life easier. Let's take oscillator 3's output and put it into the filter. And then we'll take the low pass filter output and put that into the output mixer. Now let's utilize the noise and the shaper. We can use white noise and route it directly here. Or we can use a different noise. Let's see. That could be cool. All we have to do is make sure this is going to the envelope. And you can change the noise here. So somewhere in the chain, we can add shaper. I'd say let's add shaper to the first oscillator we have here. So before we take the mix and go into the output mixer, we can take the mix and go into the shaper. And we send that output back into the output mixer. All right, let's take an unorthodox approach to adding a kick to this 808. Let's add a grain sampler. Go into your personal library or the Reason library and pick whatever kick you want. Put it on one-shot mode, tape mode, stretch it out all the way, flip it over to the back of the rack, and let's actually utilize this audio input here. Now we're running into an issue because we're out of mixer tracks. So we're going to sum a couple of these. Let's just watch where these are going. So let's take the shaper and put it into the mix here. And then we'll take this one coming from the filter and put that one in here. Then we can take this out, put it in here. And now we can blend the two. And our external audio can come in here. Set the pitch here. You could have easily also just, used the mixer here, but I want it to be complicated for fun. Now that we have our kick dialed in, let's make sure the mix is right. Drop in some EQ, maybe cut the top in. Added some distortion, EQ, and now we're going to use this M-Class Maximizer as a soft clipper. Let's cut some top in. And we can always change the tone of this. From here, you can mess with whatever you want. Just have fun. Now for what's next. Drum roll, please. Well, we already were messing with this, so let's go with grain. We were already messing with it, so we might as well just get into the nitty gritty. Right click, reset device. Now grain has an oscillator on it. We're gonna turn that baby on. We can increase the level going to the filter. We can change the waveform. Let's keep it on square wave and bring the octave down to 1 and utilize this wonderful sampler window that we have. Let's find something in the Reason sound library. Factory sounds. Let's go to other samples. Wavetables. Ooh. Drag it all the way out. And let's turn off the oscillator for a sec so we can hear what's going on. Sounds pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and set the pitch here. Now we also want to change this to one-shot mode. We can change the algorithm here. Tape will get us something a lot smoother, but if you want to experiment with spectral grains, you can. Let's start with tape. We want to run this through the filter, so we'll sample to filter. And let's adjust our amplifier. Yes, indeed. Let's add that oscillator back. Bring the octave up. Level down, run that through the filter too. Now here we'll also notice that we don't hear the pitch drop that we'd hear in an 808. So let's set that up. And here is a lot easier than complex and algorithm was. So let's go to source, envelope 1, destination, pitch. This is envelope 1. There are a bunch of presets. We can select the one at the top left. So you can adjust this if you want. You can also play with the rate. So right now we're getting a really nasty kick coming out. It sounds really hard, but maybe we don't want it that hard, so we can pull it down a bit. More like a thump and less of a click. Put it on retrig mode so that it doesn't overlap itself if we play a bunch of notes close together. This is cool. Let's utilize this wonderful matrix that we have that makes our life so easy. Envelope 2, distortion, drive. Envelope 2, we'll use a preset shape and do something insane. I like that one better. And now let's add an EQ. Get that low end popping. If you want to use something visual, you can. This is always a good one. So if you notice your 808s are starting to get thin, you need to check on that distortion. Adjust the distortion like so. And now we got some body back. Let's try G-clip this time. Now yes, this 808 is clipping creatively. We use distortion and clipping creatively when we are mixing and sound designing. It's okay. Maybe experiment with a different kind of distortion. There we go. This has got to be my favorite one so far. Next in line, let's give it up for the Europa Shape-Shifting Synthesizer Reset Patch. It's already set to a sine wave, so a lot of the work is already done for us. So let's pull up the volume a bit. Amp envelope, we'll put it on retrig mode so that it doesn't overlap itself. And now we got to set up that pitch envelope like we did with grain. It's the exact same process. Easy peasy. This is very similar to what we did in grain. It's actually the exact same thing. Let's continue to work on this and add the second oscillator. And the second oscillator is also a sub. So let's turn that to a saw triangle wave. Match that, says 70. And we can run this through the filter. Now, I kind of want this filter to move. So let's run this filter through envelope 3. Make sure we select the right envelope here, and we can adjust the speed. I wanted to start off open and then close, so Next, let's utilize these modifiers. Let's add, let's see, soft clip. Turn it on. Blend it in a little bit. I kind of like that, like that ring in the 808 now. Boost that fundamental. Let's throw in some more distortion before that. I think we should kind of adjust that ring a bit. So let's play with the drive amount. And now it's a little quieter. Let's hear it in context. Let's follow this up with G clip again. An important note about making 808s is that you can always create a few different notes, one shots on the note C in multiple places in your clip, and render that entire clip to audio. And you'll kind of get slight variations in each one, and you can pick your favorite one to save in your own personal sample pack. Let's move on to the next one. Mimic. What the heck are we gonna do with Mimic? Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know. I've never used Mimic to sound design anything, but it was on the list. Let's figure it out. So we're going to have to drop a sample in it, kind of like we did with Green. Let's just pick a sound. Let's put it in the first slot, and let's actually use multi-pitch mode. All right, I chose 4 random samples, and together they sound like this. A bunch of nonsense. So each one of these pages is going to be unique. So we can turn down the volumes of one of them or all of them and start somewhere. Let's start on number 4. Gonna pull the gain down on 1, 2, and 3. Now we can adjust our amp envelope the same way we do every other time. Some people like to put the sustain up and bring the decay down to let it ring out. I like to play with the decay. Now we can set the pitch here to make sure it's in key. It says A1 is the root. If you want to adjust it, you can. Bring it up so that I can get the low octave on the notes I already have programmed. Maybe sine fold. Let's bring the attack up a tad. So we don't get that click. And let's bring the volume up because it's quiet. Okay, now let's start layering some of these other mystery sounds we got going on here. Let's see, set root. Bring the gain up. Let's adjust that. Bring this up to B1. Let's filter it out. Let's use a low pass filter. Yeah. Band pass would be better. Yeah. Nice. Could pull the drive up. Pull the gain down a little bit. And pull the frequency to the left a tad. All right, now let's blend in the next sound. Sounds crazy. Let's pull down the decay there. Let's maybe raise the octave, set the pitch. It's at G0. Let's bring that up to like G2. You can also adjust the semitones here. I'm just being complicated. There we go. Maybe 24. And let's bring up the decay. Maybe we can change the stretch type to granular. Spread. Drop the pitch. I like it back at the regular octave, and let's put on a high pass filter here. Yeah. Now that we've got 2, 3, and 4 in, let's go ahead and navigate to the first one. And what is this? A bunch of craziness. So I'm going to do something similar as slot 2. Add some spread. Let's set the pitch. Bring it up. Okay, I like that. Bring that down. And adjust the amp envelope. Now we've got all the slots. Let's add another slot and throw a kick in there. Let's play with the kick. Ooh, that's crazy. Let's get a low pass filter on that. That's fun. That's really fun. Okay, let's focus. All right, we got to keep moving. We're having too much fun. Cool. Now let's add some distortion and an EQ. Whew, you can get some crazy one-shots from this if you just spread them out and, you know, bounce your favorite one. Render your favorite one to audio. Jesus. Let's use G-clip again. Jeez. There we go. That's the tone we need. Okay, next up, drum roll, please. The Kong Drum Designer. Now, let's just get started. Right click, reset device, show drum. Okay, we need a module here. We gotta add a drum module. So let's go for, we have physical bass drum and synth bass drum. Why don't we just link both of these so they play at the same time, and then we'll connect this to the physical bass drum for fun. Now with Kong, we won't be able to get the polyphony and the changes in the pitches until we export the audio out, but that is quite okay. Let's pull the pitch down, pull the decay down. We'll use this as more of the click. Density down, tone. Beater level. Got tone here. Kind of make that thumpier if we want. Tuning. Bend them out. Gonna keep this all the way up for now. Shell level. We can bring it down. And this is the overall volume. Then we can add some effects here. So maybe overdrive. Got different models. Transient shaper. Why not? Adjust that. It makes it sound hollow and kind of removes the thump. Let's turn this down for a sec and see what we got working on with the bass drum synth. Level up. So I'm thinking we can create some kind of buzz with this. So definitely get overdrive on this one. Decay. Attack time. Click. Level. We're going to bring that down. Noise mix. Working backwards. Tone, 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 tone. Yeah, let's bring that down. Drive down on the overdrive. Because we still got to blend with the other one. We got to bring this decay down a bit so it's more controlled. I mean, it's really loud, so let's bring down the level a little bit. We could kind of turn down the beater. More distortion. Let's try this damaged drum preset. EQ, clipper, and boom, we have it. An 808 with Kong. Just blending stuff together. If things start to get muddy, you can always come in and add some cuts. Let's add that classic chorus to it. Follow that up with a stereo imager and make sure the bass is mono below, say 200, 150 hertz, whatever. Solo low band, high band. Yeah. Let's try the quartet chorus ensemble. Put it on chorus mode, bring down the dry wet. Give it a little bit of width. I don't know about you, but this baby right here is coming with me. Let's move on to the next one. Drum roll, please. Layers. Let's get into layers, y'all. Layers gives us 4 different sound engines. So let's just, right click and reset it. And we'll start similarly to how we started every other time. We're going to mute these. Let's change the sound. We got a bunch of different options to choose from. I want to start with assign. Just drop the octave down, raise the volume up. I'm going to push that volume to the top. And we got some distortion here. Let's see. LA distortion. Woo. Let's add in a layer. We got some Juno 60 presets, some Jupiter 4 presets. Okay. Gonna match this. Let's send this to the flanger. Yeah. Bring the volume down. Yeah, it could be like a little wash, kind of. What does it sound like with distortion? Cool. Let's use the filter cutoff. Cool. Let's add another layer. For this one, we could try something that sounds super distorted. Let's swap this out for something else. Okay, this sounds cool. Let's use that. We got one more layer. We might as well use it. Might as well. Let's have fun. Oh, let's add a little bit of sustain to these. And this time, let's make something from scratch. Change the rate. Maybe that. Bits. Try overdrive. It doesn't have as much of that boom, so let's adjust the decay on some of these. The mode is going to be mono, and with this one we can even pull up the attack so we can add a kick another time, another place. All right, that wraps it up for layers. Let's move on to our last one. Drum roll, please. And now we're moving to Polytome dual layer synthesizer. This is layer A. Let's get a sine wave going for that boom sub. Right off the bat, hearing a little click. Pull the attack up a tad. Let's bring the sustain down, the decay down. Let's build it with distortion on it. Let's start to blend in this second oscillator on layer A. We can experiment with some different wave shapes. Turn down this filter frequency. And then let's jump to layer B. This is where we can add some more texture. So let's put the mode on mix and we'll keep this on fader. We could change this one to triangle, pull the filter down, blend them back in. Just a touch. And let's add another module here. EQ and some kind of volume control. Boost the fundamental a bit. Big dip in the middle, just why not? Let's hear this in context. So I kind of want to add some of the body back, so let's listen to this without the distortion. Okay. That could help. Blend that back. There we go. That just sounds mean. Let's go ahead and put this on retrig as our last step. That should have been first. Add some age. If we want, we can bring up the attack and blend in our kick like we demonstrated previously. Maybe cut out some high end. All right, y'all, that is gonna wrap it up for this video. Keep in mind, I did all this in headphones. I didn't have a sub. I didn't use any monitors because it's late and I have neighbors. So, you know, if anything is a little off, you know, that's probably the reason. I'm just using a different monitoring system than you. I hope you enjoyed the video and you picked up some fun tips. Comment and let me know which one was your favorite. I'm still going with mimic. Like, that was unexpected magic right there. I'm gonna have to use that a lot. Assault culture, kick back, and cook up.